I think the thing about Marvel is it just doesn't have an end. It just keeps on going. But every now and then, Marvel seems to say, you know what? Let's actually make an ending for this. Interesting stuff. Let's talk about Loki season 2. Now, if you haven't seen Loki season 2, I'm going to be talking about this with no spoilers, at least at the beginning. And I'll let you know when we get to spoiler time. But this is one of those series that it's like, man, I'm really interested to know what you guys think about all this. Like, what do you think about what Loki means, what it means to the rest of the MCU? Where do they go from here? All of that's really super interesting to me. So let's talk about it in the comment section. One of the best things about Loki season 2 and really the series as a whole is it sort of recontextualizes a character that we've known for a very, very long time and given that character an arc that is unexpected, but really, really welcome and super satisfying. Now, Kuan has been one of the more interesting additions to the cast this season. He's just been like he's awesome. Okay, I've been a fan ever since Indy and the Temple of Doom, and of course the Goonies. But he's just one of those people where you're like, I can't see anybody not liking his performance and his character and him as a person. Like he's even such an interesting person that I want to see more from him, not just in the MCU, but just in general. And I think hopefully he continues to do some interesting stuff in his career. Now they've been building up Jonathan Majors up, right? As Kang, right? The sort of the next Thanos, if you will. But he plays a really interesting role in this season, and kind of a couple of different roles. And it's really sort of unexpected, but it really also goes to show that I hope that he is not guilty of the issues that he's been going through in real life, because I really enjoy him as a performer. I think he's an awesome actor. I really enjoy his characters that he plays in the MCU, and I want to see more from him. So like I said, I hope he's not guilty of these issues that he's been dealing with. I think one of the major criticisms that I've seen, like almost across the board, is the I guess the treatment of the character of Sylvie, played by Sophia Di Martino. She played a very integral role in the first season, and in this season, she seems to have taken kind of a back seat. And it, I don't know, it's kind of disappointing, and I was hoping for more from her character. I mean, she does a fine job with what she's given, but yeah, I was hoping that she was going to have a bigger role in what was going to go down here, and unfortunately, she just really doesn't. Now, Gugu Mbatha-Raw, she plays Ren Slayer, and she was pretty important in the first season as well. In this season, she seems to be one of those characters that's like, oh yeah, when she pops up, it's like, oh yeah, what's she been up to? So she doesn't really get a whole lot to do here either. The rest of the supporting cast has been really great. Wunmi Misaku as Hunter B-15 and Eugene Cordero as Casey. They turn in really solid, fun performances in this season as well. In fact, they play a bigger role than I thought they were going to play. But I really enjoyed them. I think they were great. Now, depending on how things progress from here, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Owen Wilson's character, Mobius, going forward. But man, that's one thing that regardless, I want to see Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston together in multiple things. Like whether it's MCU or not, I want to see more from the two of them. I think their chemistry is the heart of the show, and I really just love the two of them together, you know? And so yeah, give me more of Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston for sure. But this show is called Loki, and Tom Hiddleston is playing Loki. And I gotta say, he proves once again why he's one of the best actors in the MCU. And he seems to be one of the actors that really embraced his role, and he loves playing this character. The care that he brings to his performance is really evident, and it just never feels phoned in. He feels locked in all the time, and it's really cool to see. And I just think Tom Hiddleston's awesome. So yeah, this was great. This is a very dense show, and I have to say, multiple times during the second season, I found myself being a little like, okay, that was a lot. That was a lot to process. And so my wife and I were watching parts of the first season, and it gave me a greater appreciation of what they've done with this series. I mean, it's really impressive stuff. But I think more than anything, it's just so damn nerdy. This is a comic book story, and I love it for that. I think it's really, really good. It's so fun to see things actually play out with this plan. I mean, you had two different groups of people, writing and producing these two seasons. So the fact that they play together so well and it works as well as it does is just super impressive. I actually think that this series probably takes more work as far as like it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. But man, it is a trip worth taking, and I think that it's probably one of my favorite things, like maybe top 3 things the MCU has ever done. I think it's that good. So it's spoiler time. So if you haven't seen Loki season 2 and you don't want to hear any more, here's your warning. But I will say that yeah, the show's nerdy, it's great, it's dense, but really worth it if you take the time to really take it in. I loved it. But now it's spoiler time. Starting off, let's talk about that ending, okay? Because it's amazing that we get an ending. It's so rare to have what feels like an actual ending. And that's really, really fun. I love it. And I love the fact that Loki finally gets his throne, and he finally gets this glorious purpose that he's been talking about since the beginning. But it's done in a way that's so unexpected and so different than what we've really known about this character for 15 years. I mean, seriously, the guy has only been for himself, selfish, 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 and then he does something at the end that's so selfless, and he does it to protect his friends. That's really awesome. I will say though, at the very end, even though I was feeling the emotions of the weight of what was happening, I didn't understand everything I was seeing, and I needed to, go on the internet and get the feedback from some much nerdier people than me to tell me what I was seeing, and then I was like, oh, that's cool. I like that. Now the question is, yes, he got an ending, but will they stick to it? Because they're already talking about bringing back Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. for more movies, even though they got a definitive end. What's going to happen? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if they stick to it. Of course, would I love to see more adventures of Loki and Mobius? Absolutely. I absolutely would. But I kind of don't want them to. I kind of want them to just leave it as is. Let Tom Hiddleston exit the MCU and let him go on and do much more things, because the thing is, he's a great actor and I'd love to see him do other things, more interesting things, and yeah, let's see him do that. Some people that I've seen talk about Loki have mentioned this as well, that the way that they ended this, it feels like the MCU Marvel can do a couple of different things. Like they could continue on the path with Kang and all that stuff, but this also ties it up in a way where they could say, yeah, Kang and the He Who Remains thing, that's all taken care of now, because now Loki is in charge. Loki's in charge of the multiverse. And yeah, I guess they could just say, bye, Jonathan Majors. Thank you for your time. And you're done now though. But I really enjoy him and I want to see more from him. And I think what they were building toward could be really, really cool. But I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I just really enjoyed him. I enjoyed him a lot as Victor Timely, because he was so awkward and the stuttering and all that I liked. And then I really enjoyed his return as He Who Remains in the season finale. I like him as an actor and I want to see more. But again, his real life stuff is going to have to be figured out, right? There's a lot of interesting things here. I mean, you've got the release of Loki season 2, right? Which has been, I would say, mostly regarded as very, very positive. And then the next day, the Marvels comes out and it's very divisive, to say the least. I mean, there's a lot of people that are complaining a lot, and then there's a lot of people that are saying, no, it was much better than, than I thought it was going to be. All of this stuff. And then, of course, with the strikes being over, there's still like a lot of work to be done with movies. And so Disney has pushed out a lot of their slate. And so the only movie coming out next year from Marvel is Deadpool, right? So where do they go from here? But here's a question for you. So I would say that most people enjoy the interconnectedness of the Marvel movies and shows, right? They enjoy that they've seen this movie and then that movie is referenced, 2 or 3, 4 or 5 movies later. There's some things that take a while to pay off. Do you enjoy that part of Marvel, or would you rather them kind of go off and do some one-off stuff? Some stuff that doesn't have to be connected to everything else. It's kind of interesting. Like, what do people prefer? Because I'll tell you right now, I enjoyed Loki as a series, but I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much, and it wouldn't have had as much weight to it if I hadn't had 15 years of characterization from Tom Hiddleston and the rest of the Marvel movies. So it's kind of this double-edged sword, because in a way, the way that you have to interconnect these movies, it really kind of ties you down from telling a story that's just kind of off and doing its own thing. You want things to be connected to everything else because that gives it weight and it gives it urgency for people to want to see the next Marvel thing that comes out. So I'm not sure what the answer is. Maybe a mixture of both. So anyway, I don't want to go off on a something that's way beyond what the scope of this video should be. It should be about Loki season 2 and Loki as a series, and I think it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. So let's talk about these things down in the comment section below, and yeah, we'll have a good time. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.